You're listening to Rock-N-Sexxy UnCensored, bringing you the cutting edge of the entertainment world weekly, hosted by Amber Lynn.
All right, you guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of Rock-N-Sexxy UnCensored. We are broadcasting live tonight on the United Broadcasting Network, ubnco.com, Channel 1. Make a note of that. I'm your host, Amber Lynn, and it is my great pleasure to be here with you guys tonight. Sitting in the co-host seat tonight is Joe Williamson, Management.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to have you back, Joe, in spite of those trolls, right?
Yeah, yeah, haters gotta hate.
Yes, they do. By the way, guys, happy National Sex Day. It is June 9th today, which is 69, so it is National Sex Day. And we have some awesome guests in the studio who are going to be helping us celebrate tonight. RNSU works overtime to bring you the cutting edge of talent from the music and entertainment industry. Tonight is no exception. Right, Joe?
Of course.
Did I throw you?
No.
I didn't throw you with the troll.
It's all good.
You know, that's how those trolls are, bud. You just got to roll with it. Joining us live in the studio right now, you guys, this beautiful lady is a scream queen and a bit of a cult iconic sex symbol. She's had a long and prolific career, tons and tons of credits. Again, we were going over your credits on the way here, and we were like, this is good, that's good, they're all good. Number one, for Bruce Lee fans, she was in the Kung Fu epic Bruce Lee Fights Back from the Grave.
I love that movie. Oh, yes, that's a classic. Deborah was amazing in that.
She was amazing. You almost gave away my announcement. Don't give her up yet. We got to tease him a little bit more, Joe. She got her A-list break in The Amazing Howard Hughes, starring the legendary Tommy Lee Jones. Her other credits include Protocol with Goldie Hawn, another amazing artist. And she recently starred in Bigfoot or Bust, which was directed by Jim Wynorski. We were talking about him last week. Welcome to Rock-N-Sexxy UnCensored, Deborah Dudge.
I just can't tell you how excited I am to be here.
We're so excited to have you. Look at you, you gorgeous thing. And one of the things I would just want to show everybody, would you do me a favor? Would it embarrass you if I asked you to stand up?
No,
She is just a pint-sized, teeny little thing. And when she was getting out of the car, I'm like, look at you, she's so little. Can you just stand up and show everybody how beautiful
You know,
you
it's
are?
so funny because I'm looking in the screen there, and I feel so small.
You're
so
tall.
I
She's
wanted to
such
stand
a
up.
tiny little thing, isn't she? Look at this gorgeous
Wow,
thing.
here we go.
Woo! There you go. Deborah Dutch is in the house with us tonight, you guys.
And very shy, too.
And she's so shy, right? Perfect artist.
We're gonna have to
happy to be here,
bring
and
you
I
out of
love
your
everybody.
shell.
I love you guys. I
There
love
you
Joe.
go.
And
And by
that's
the
why
way,
I'm
guys,
here.
you can
Feels
tip
mutual.
if you like. You can throw $1 bills, whatever
Wow.
you like. You can,
Oh,
right?
I love that when they throw $1 bills.
Oh, I like it when they throw
How about
hundreds,
Venmo,
but, you know.
PayPal,
We'll have to
Venmo?
get by on that. Guys, this hunk in my
Oh,
studio
wow.
here has us all shaking in our Balmain boots.
Mm.
He currently appears as Disciples President Corey Black in the BET TV series, The Family Business. We're going to be talking about that tonight. During the pandemic, he completed filming the feature film Fall with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He also has a fun role in the upcoming Sallywood, which stars Oscar nominee Sally Kirkland.
And Golden Globe winner.
Thank you.
Right? There
She'd
you
like
go.
that.
And his other TV credits include Training Day, The Rookie, and FX TV's American Horror Story. Welcome, Jasper Cole.
Hello. Hi, everybody. It's great to be back at UBN with Mr. Tony Sweet.
There you go. He's in the background.
Oh, yeah,
guys,
he's
but
the
we won't
boss.
Bring him out. He's a little shy, and we're celebrating National
Oh,
Sex
yeah.
Day today.
And he's a
He's
big
very
punk, too.
He's
a
very
big one,
shy.
too, right?
Tony's not only a neck turner, he's a head turner, he's a neck breaker.
He's a neck breaker. There you go. So
Tony's a good singer, by the way.
is he?
He doesn't.
Wow.
No one. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, he is.
Do you do karaoke?
Amazing. You guys are funny. Okay, let's get down to our guests now, guys. So it's so good to have you guys in the house today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Right?
I'm
Now,
sorry.
one of the things I wanted to ask right away is Jasper is currently starring in The Family Business on BET.
Yes.
And this is a biker show.
Well, yeah. There are basically it's about a upstanding black rich family who run a car dealership by day, but their real job is they're drug cartels by night. So within the drug cartels, we have different disciples, and I run the Philadelphia street gang, motorcycle gang, and there's different ones, and so it's kind of a dynasty-esque show with
Interesting.
drug cartel, and we're in our fourth
So
season.
is that like the network competition from the Mayans TV show, Kurt Sutter's thing?
I think so. Like
I would think so.
kind of like post Sons of Anarchy.
post
kind
Sons
of.
of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a good biker epic.
Kurt Sutter, yeah.
Right, and yeah, he's a great director.
Katie Seagal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of them. So who else is on the show with you?
So it stars Darren Henson. Well, the star is actually Ernie Hudson from
Okay.
Ghostbusters. He plays Elsie Duncan, the Duncan family.
Ghostbusters.
Yes, yes.
Who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters. He's the
Right.
greatest guy. First of all, he's so like number one on the call sheets sets the tone for a show, right? And he's just so wonderful. So Valerie Pettiford, Tammy Roman, Miguel Nunez. It's really a huge cast. Carl Weber, who wrote, it's based on his books. He writes all these storylines. I don't even know how he keeps. There's like 30 storylines in the show. I don't know how he keeps it all straight in his head, but they're amazing. The whole cast. Yeah.
So is your character like are you a bad guy? Like, cause when I saw your pictures, I was like, this is a villain. By the way,
Yeah.
you won a Nollywood Film Award in
I did.
2019
Yes.
for
Best villain, I believe.
Best Villain.
And really, you're one of the greatest screen villains. I mean, Basil Rathbone, John Malkovich, they have nothing
Thank
on you,
you.
my friend.
Thank you.
My
Well,
pleasure.
and I'd like to think I'm nothing like those characters, right?
No, you're one of the nicest guys in real life. But that just shows what great artist you are.
Well, thank you.
you
but
know,
that's what acting is,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
but-
when I saw the pictures of you, and I've known a few villains in my
Yeah,
life.
yes,
And
yes.
I've also known a few bikers. So immediately I was like, this guy. And then he comes into the studio. I walk in and he's got this big smile on his face, and he's got this big, sweet, like almost, youthful young boy face
Oh, wow.
smile going on. And I'm like, where's my villain? We got to get you to tap that villain.
Yeah. So, but as an actress, like a lot of the bad guys are some of the nicest guys. A lot of the leading guys can be really, divas.
and really
Right,
some of the
divas. A diva? Did
Yes.
somebody say
Uh-oh,
diva?
diva.
and then some
Amber
of the
woke up.
parts is the best parts in the show. The most
Oh, yeah.
the best characters.
I love playing the bad guy. Yeah. Took me years to get on that bad guy list. So once you get on the list, you really kind of want to be typecast in the business somewhere because they like to peg you in a lane,
Yes.
So I'm honored to be on that bad guy list.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Trust me. And it's easy to get like where you're permanently and you can't get out of it. I know that for several seasons I had Kristen Renton on. She played Ima Tight
Oh, yeah.
on Sons of Anarchy, and that's how we met. We were at a fan show together, and she said, I want to do character research. Do you want to have some coffee? Because she was playing a famous porn star,
Right.
which was where I got my start in the 80s. But that was really
You must
funny.
have been a child actress.
Not a child.
Barely,
We
just
don't
barely
accept that,
legal.
Right?
Barely legal,
in the
everybody.
80s, right? But
Right.
the whole funny part about it is people try to typecast you, but it takes years to be able to get out of that when you're in mainstream
Yeah.
acting roles, right? But being a villain, I find that being a villain is fun. She always said to me, I love playing a good bitch. And it can be hard to do, to let yourself go,
Yeah.
enough to really get into those
Do you
types
play?
of characters.
You've played some badass women, haven't you?
I usually get typecast as your badass and, or your, villainous.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
do a lot of villainous roles because of that. And of course, I have a some muscles. Anywhere
Very
they,
subtle.
and of course I know Deborah knows this, right? Anywhere they need a woman who's got, you know, big breasts.
69, everybody.
It's
Right.
69. Happy National Sex Day, everybody.
That's right.
That's why we're here.
Wow.
You'll get used to it.
And
How
my-
about you, Deborah?
And I'm going to say, I don't know, this is X-rated, right? My favorite position.
It doesn't have to be X-rated unless you want it to be. It's uncensored.
right.
She
That's
goes,
right.
"This is
Uncensored.
X-rated." She
Can do whatever you want.
Right.
So
Which-
anyway, I mean, I'm just thrilled to hear about you being the villain because I would love to see you play the nice guy.
Oh, I would love to
In
play
a,
the
in a
nice
sense
guy.
that everybody thinks he's the villain, and then he comes out to be the one
nice
with
guy.
the heart.
That's a good idea.
And you know what? Not only
Let's write that.
Not only
They're gonna write.
Let's make a movie
you've
together.
never played that role before.
Well, when I was younger and I didn't look so mean. But
When you were
then,
younger, you didn't look so
no.
mean. You don't look mean just sitting here right in front of me
well,
now.
yeah, I mean I'm pretty severe on camera, but it's good. But yeah, when I turned
Because- but
40,
I
something
could-
happened when I turned 40.
Oh, it
Oh,
did?
yeah.
Face changed, so I grew my hair out and just kind of went with it. But
Maybe
in-
you played one too many villains. Maybe like during the course of playing a villain. I know that I traveled on the road for years in a show where I danced and I played, you know, an iconic stripper, which was part of my gig. And after a while, I just started to look that role all the
Yeah.
time. And then when I started doing mainstream parts, you know, and my agent's always saying to me, I want to see you play a mom. There's that part of you
Yeah,
that is so
yeah.
maternal. And I want to bring that out in you. I want to see you play this. And people are like, I'll go in on a mom role, and they're like, you know, you'll do your audition.
it's a different
and they'll
kind
be
of-
like, great. So we also have a role right here for a stripper.
could be a stripper
You wanna
mom.
read this? And then
Moms
they're
are
like-
strippers.
right.
You know,
Yeah, moms can be strippers as well. But I mean,
I know
it's
what you
just
mean.
the way
Yeah.
they'll try to put you
everybody's
in it.
got you in a box.
I
All
didn't
of us
get a
in
chance
box.
to see you in the family business yet, but I definitely want to check it out.
Check
and
it
that's
out.
on what nights are it on?
It's
So fans-
Tuesday nights, 10 o'clock. We're on BET Plus, which is the streamer, and we're on the main channel also.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've watched the show, and you're amazing in it. And
Thank
like
you,
I said,
Joe.
Oh no, my pleasure. And you know, it's an amazing cast, but you always steal every scene you're in.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm grateful to work with those actors. You know,
So what are you doing? What is his name is Corey Black,
Corey
right?
Black.
He rides a bike. He's a biker.
well, it's funny
Is
because
he a
Jasper
patch?
can't ride a motorcycle.
Oh, really?
Or I auditioned
I
for
can teach you.
Sons of Anarchy like 25 times, but I ride in on a bike. Like I ride into a scene. You know, I don't have to go far on it. It's a running joke on the show. Like,
How did they get you on the bike to be able to ride it?
well, I just kind of told him I was comfortable doing it. But do you ride a motorcycle?
You know, I rode a motorcycle in my youth quite often, and then something happened in my life, and I have scars to prove
Oh,
it.
okay. Well, it's
And so
It can be a little intimidating.
Yeah, I put it down, and
Yeah.
if I'm gonna ride a bike, I'm gonna ride a Harley.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the way I roll with life.
Deborah? Do you have ridden motorcycles?
Well,
Ridden
it's-
on motorcycles, probably.
Oh,
on
yeah.
the back.
No, it's so funny because I've been in a couple movies where you know, in the motorcycle, but I ride on the back, and I can remember, you know, when I was, you know, pretty young, I went over to Jamaica with, you know, the guy that I was in love with at the time, and we got a motorcycle, of course, and driving all over the Blue Mountains, and then we get to the beaches and they grill, right? And I'm going, wait a minute, we're not going down on the beach,
On
are
the
we?
sand.
Oh,
I
baby,
could see you
what did I
playing
do?
a biker chick.
Yeah.
So here we go on
Absolutely.
the beaches in Negril, and then all of a sudden there's a ravine. If you've ever been on the beaches of Negril, there are ravines there. And so my boyfriend at the time goes, hold on, baby. So I'm holding on. We go tearing over the ravine,
Oh no.
and bam, smashed. And I'm so little, and the bike went over top of me, and the exhaust pipe right under
Ooh,
there.
yeah.
I had 3rd-degree burns, right?
You know,
So-
that happened to me.
And
That almost exactly. I have a big scar on the inside of my calf from it. Yeah.
so
That's the accident I was talking about. Is that I was seriously burned and
Yeah.
my foot got smashed between a foot peg.
So that's why I don't ride a motorcycle.
Me too.
That's why you don't
The
ride
moral of
motorcycle.
the story
Well,
is,
you
unless
know-
they're paying me on TV. But
Well,
yeah.
and on TV, and they don't usually, unless of course you are naturally
Yeah, I
inclined
mean-
to do your own stunt work, which a lot of people do, like
Yeah,
Tom Cruise. He
yeah.
doesn't let anybody, when stunts are there, he wants his own. He does all his own stunt work because he wants it authentic.
Yeah.
Most people, they won't let you.
Insurance wise too.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because they don't want you to get messed up. I mean, I've been on sets going, I'll do that. And they'll go, no, just stand off to the side and, keep your hair and makeup right so we have continuity for the
Right.
scene. I think that people don't understand, when you're shooting film, it's all about the end result and you have to have this continuity and stuff like that.
It's true.
But, so Corey Black, is
Corey
he
Black.
a murderer? Is he...
Not so far. He's not been a murderer. He's
Okay.
more. Ernie's character, Elsie Duncan. There's one particular drug that we're selling that's been the popular drug, and my character has come on the scene bringing another one called fire. There's heat and there's fire.
And the popular drug is called heat.
Yeah, so we're
So
bringing.
it's something that's not really out on the street as street drugs.
It's kind of supposed to be based on like maybe cocaine and meth.
Okay.
The writer kind of came up with his own. Allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly, I'm just, yeah.
But they probably might not be able to actually talk
Yeah.
about the real thing
Right.
because they may lose their network. Right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
so they had to-
it's Viacom CBS, so yeah. But no, so yeah, Corey's.
That's why we love Rock-N-Sexxy UnCensored. We can say what we want.
We can say whatever the
talk about what
fuck we want, right?
guys?
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah. But no, Corey's just he's a bad guy, but I have a wife and kids, and he also has a double life,
Okay.
day and night. So you have to tune in to see what that is.
Wow.
God, I can't wait to see
That's
it.
so exciting.
Yeah.
So Tuesday night, 7 p.m.
I think it's 10 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Pacific.
7 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then it reruns.
And you're pretty much on it weekly, or
Yeah, I'm like 8 of the 10 on season 3. 8 of the 10
that's
episodes.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so killer.
Yeah.
And you just finished a Christmas film not too long ago.
I did. I produced and co-star in another BET. BET's been very good to me. A Miracle Before Christmas. LaToya Luckett from Destiny's Child is our lead actress, and that's a very sweet film. It's a nice Christmas. It'll be out this Christmas. We have to turn it
Do you
in.
play a villain? Or?
Now, interesting. In this one, I play sort of a billionaire, kind of a really nasty billionaire, sort of a Jeff. Like
Donald Trump.
Elon Musk kind of guy.
Okay.
But I get to wear a
Jeez,
suit.
Joe
I wear a suit for a change. So he's a little more
He's a
upscale.
billionaire.
Yeah.
But I'm still mean. Like I'm really nasty in it. But I get it in the end basically.
Oh, you do?
I
You're
don't
not
get
supposed to
killed.
give that
I don't
away.
get killed, but I think you'll be happy to what happens to him in the end. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to
Congratulations.
see it.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
So, and that's what's going on right now.
We just wrapped. Literally, we had the wrap party Saturday night, and we have to turn the movie in the end of July. So we have like 6-week post production.
So you got a little bit of time off right now. What are you doing
Little
with your
bit.
time off? Are you just like cruising in the beach and hanging out in LA? Now that we're all in LA and the sun
We're
is starting
back
to
in
shine.
LA. I live in
Right.
Palm Springs also, so
Oh, so you're out in the desert.
I'm in the
I just came back
desert.
from Vegas.
okay. So you know
Yeah,
the heat
so,
and the dry heat.
Well, I know how it is when I was there, but I'll tell you, being back in California now, it's like,
I know.
You know, it's
It's
like
true.
warm. I mean, we have sunny days, but if you've lived in Vegas, it's nothing like it. And I love Vegas,
Right.
and I love the heat, but
They always say it's a dry heat. I'm like, well, so is a sauna.
it's
But
the
we're not living in a
dead
sauna, right?
heat.
Yeah.
It's the dead suck the life out of you heat. Love Vegas too.
A lot is always happening in Vegas.
How do your fans follow you? Do you have a website where you can
Yeah,
get in touch with them?
JasperCole.com, or I'm Jasper Cole Says SAYS on all the social. Instagram is probably the main one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, So check me out there. And I have a podcast, one-on-one with Jasper Cole. We've been down for 6 months. It's my 10th year. We're gonna come back up soon, but
Where can your fans find you when you're on air?
So we are on Blog Talk Radio now.
Okay.
We actually used to be at UBM, was our last place in studio, and then the pandemic came. So we're gonna look to maybe come back in studio somewhere.
The pandemic was really difficult. I went out to Vegas during the pandemic, and then it just kind of everything shut down. And so we're back. We're so happy to be back in the house.
And speaking of studios, you was just across the street in Warner Brothers. Wasn't you shooting something else?
Well, I'm actually, one blessing that happened during the pandemic is I got cast in a scripted dramatic podcast series. So I really got into voiceover. It became my new passion. And so in the last 2 years, I've been doing voiceover. So I was actually recording a voiceover for animated series.
That's awesome.
That's so, I love the voiceover, because you don't have to worry about what you look like, the camera. You just,
Voiceover things are fun. I actually was a part of a series that was going into production that was like a cartoon series, and we had to do voiceovers and stuff like that. And the project never flew. It never got off the ground. The pandemic hit, a lot of things changed. But I was super excited about it. It was like a cartoon where I played this character who was this cartoon, and I was an FBI agent called Agent Hardbody, and then there was all these characters in this cartoon that was like all these iconic, from Goodfellas, Frank Adonis was in it. They even had Joe Perry from Aerosmith. And then it never got off the ground. So, yeah, but I was really looking forward to it. So, your fans are following you. You're staying in touch with them, though.
Yeah,
right?
I've gotten really good on social. I'm up to 100 and something thousand on Instagram. So
he's now your influencer.
I mean, Joe knows. I'm a little bit older. I wasn't.
You're young.
Social media was not my best friend, but I've gotten better.
Instagram is very difficult like that. I've had over 100,000 or had 100,000 like multiple times. And then I've gotten these strange messages that say, would you like to pay for a blue check? And I'm like, I don't need your blue check. I'm a registered trademark.
Yeah.
What is more valid than being a USPTO registered trademark?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to give it to you, fine. But then they're like $10,000. And I'm like, $10,000.
They should pay you to have the blue mark.
Right? And then the next thing you know, boom, your account goes down.
Oh.
I'm not naming any names.
Allegedly.
But hey, and so you're like, no, I don't need it. I don't need, I mean, it's nice. But everybody gets trolled no matter what you do, and accounts get,
hacked.
Infringed on. Once you're a registered trademark, it becomes about infringement. So, anyway, you guys, you got to check him out on Tuesday.
Thank you, guys.
nights.
Yes.
We're so
please
happy
do.
to have him in the house.
Great to be here.
And Deborah Dutch, don't you get away from me. I see you over there trying to look
no,
the other way.
No, I was enjoying myself listening to you guys.
One of the things I noticed about you, two things that struck me with you right off the top is when I was looking at your credits and doing research on you and stuff, I pictured you as like really tall. You see her in pictures where she's played, what was that one movie where she played with all the other girls on
Hard to Die?
Yeah, and you were like villain chicks on, I don't know if it was on the beach or in the water or there was something going on, but you were with a whole bunch of other women. And you looked very tall in your pictures to me in the stuff that I've seen. And when you pulled up in the car and you first stood up out of it, I was like, she's such a little tiny girl. I love that. People, the same thing with me, though, because when I stand up, I'm very tall in my heels. And because I work out, it's that. But when I take my heels off and people see me flat-footed, they're like, I never imagined that you would be so short. So, but anyway, you're such a tiny little thing. And the other thing is that you're kind of shy. You're just a little bit shy. I noticed that. Like, how does it feel to carry that? I mean, I know what it's like for me, but I want to hear from you. Becoming a sex symbol in all of your movies. Like, you've been in so many cult classic movies. You've done over 100 movies, right? Mm-hmm. How many movies have you actually done?
Well, it's hard to keep track. because you know
Yeah.
we do things all the time, and sometimes they're listed on the IMDb, and then other times they're not, and so it's I don't know, but I know it's over 100.
And so when you started like going out in public, once you had like a lot of these credits too are racy and they're sexy roles. You play a lot of sexy roles. Obviously, she's a gorgeous blonde. You know, she plays a lot of sexy roles. And when people recognize you on the street, what is that like? Is that uncomfortable for you?
No, I love it.
Isn't she cute?
Yeah,
Do you see
no,
the way
I-
she kind of goes?
What?
She has this like angelic, almost childlike innocence about you. That's one of the things I noticed. Did you notice that? She's so sweet.
No, she's the best.
But you know, don't you think a lot of actors are shy sometimes in real life?
Well, I never thought of myself as shy. You know, it's like
But then you get to let it out. You play these.
no,
on
I
camera.
like to, believe it or not, I like to let other people do their thing, and then when it's my turn, I do my thing. It's not like I'm shy. I'm just like, I'm just not like one of these people like, oh,
You're not
I'm
on.
here
You're not on
and,
all the time.
And I mean, when you introduce me, of course, I'm going to do my number, and I love, you know, I'll go up on stage and dance and do splits at shows, and you know, you name it.
So
I
you're
mean,
dancing as well.
well, that was my original. I was a ballet dancer.
Oh wow.
Yeah. When
So
I
you
was
started out a ballet dancer before you became
Correct,
an actress.
correct.
Tell us about it. We want to
well,
get to know you.
yeah, I grew up in South Central New Jersey and in the countryside there, and it was really beautiful. And I had my little German Shepherd puppies, and but I always felt like I was going to be a movie star, and
And you were.
I
And you
danced
did.
and you know did all the shows and everything, and then you know I auditioned in New York, and oh well no, I was ballet dancer, but I was also a cheerleader at high school, so I broke a little bone in my knee when I was like 15, and I couldn't do the 4 hours of toe anymore.
Oh.
Oh wow!
So, but then I just
actually
became
know
like
that.
a regular
Look at it.
dancer, and so what happened was I went to New York and auditioned for Broadway, and I got into the Broadway theater, 50th and Broadway, and I studied with all the great teachers in New York. the
What was your
Strasberg
first
Studio.
role on Broadway?
Pardon me?
What was your first show on Broadway?
Actually, it was called The Rose Tattoo. I played the young girl Rosa.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
That's a great
Yeah,
interesting
play.
because
That's a
you know
great
Broadway's
play.
coming back
Tennessee
now. Now
Williams.
that they've got like they had a big thing just
Yeah.
now where they had Christy
And-
Brinkley and a show called Chicago, and then Pamela Anderson took it over from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so Broadway is like really coming back a lot now.
Yeah, so what happened was I fell in love with a rock star. He was produced by
Oh.
George Harrison, and so he
In
had a-
real life, you did, or as part of
yeah.
the
So
show?
what
Oh.
happened was what happened
Detour.
was I came out to Hollywood because he had a contract with Richard Perry at A&M Studios, and I said, well, I have to leave Broadway and go make movies in LA. I'm in love. And so that was the beginning, and my audition for, I met this like kind of mafiosa manager.
In LA.
And
Aren't
I
they
was-
all?
Don't tell me.
Joe, aren't they all?
Wasn't
Yes.
it? Don't tell me. At the Rainbow Bar and Grill on Sunset.
Actually, I went to the Rainbow Bar and Grill like in a limousine because my boyfriend was recording and John Lennon was there. I got to meet
Wow.
John Lennon.
Oh.
Yeah, really. For
What
real.
was it like
Paul
to meet
McCartney
John
passed me a
Lennon?
joint
Nice.
at,
I never got to meet John Lennon.
Not yet,
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
No.
He was very
You're
quiet.
not going to meet John
He-
Lennon.
he was-
no.
He was very quiet. But
never-
You're a little late, Joe. Joe's like a John.
The spirit of yes.
The
Exactly.
spirit of John Lennon. But John, yeah, wow. Yeah, John was taken from us, Joe.
Yeah,
But
come on.
anyway-
We'll talk about that. I'll tell you the whole story on the car on the way.
while my boyfriend was recording, you know, sometimes I even sang backup for some of his tracks.
One John's?
No, with my boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
So, because there were no chick singers around at 4 a.m. at the recording studio. And I do sing, but I'm not that great of a singer, so that's why I always end up singing backup for people. But it was fun. But what happened was I got a manager, and I went to audition for. They were trying to find the new Bruce Lee, which is kind of interesting because there was a bunch of them, and Chuck Norris' studio was right there in Wilshire, and June Chong's is right next to Chuck Norris' studio. So I go in there, and they said, "Okay, well, meet us for dinner," because they kind of liked my look, I guess. So I met them for dinner in Koreatown, this big restaurant, and I remember sitting there, and I just sat there, and they're all talking Korean, and I'm looking.
Chuck Norris was talking in Korean?
No, Chuck Norris didn't, but they shared a studio.
Okay.
Yeah, the Kung Fu studio.
They were probably talking about you in Korean.
Well,
And back in this time that we're talking about, taking it back into the era, Chuck Norris was famous, but had not quite achieved that legendary Chuck Norris, right? Because all of these guys pretty much started out as these martial arts masters, which was also very popular because I did, some kickboxing and stuff like that, and I followed these guys a lot too. But he hadn't quite become the legend, right? He was still, still in young Hollywood, right?
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. But anyway, so I just sat there and I'm looking around like this. I'm like 16, I'm looking around like this, and they said, the Bruce Lee guy, June Chong, he's like looks like Bruce Lee, and he was like the contender because Bruce Lee had passed away.
Yes.
So it was a big contest who was going to be the next. And June would say to me, "Look over there, Debbie." I went. I should look right in the camera. Where's the camera?
Right there, Jack. That's true.
And then they had me look another way. And that's how I got the part.
So that was like your screen
because
test.
the whole movie,
Wow,
they
I
zero
wish it could
in
always
on
be
my
that
bl-
easy for
my
all of us, right? Just
blue-
look over
they
there and
zero
look
in on
over
my
In
there.
a Korean restaurant.
in my blue-green eyes. The whole movie, if you look at the movie. Joe, you saw the movie?
Oh yes, you're
Do you
amazing.
have is there dialogue in the movie, or is it just like a
I had
montage
dialogue
shot
through
of
the
your
whole thing.
face?
But that's another whole story. But anyway, it's really funny because I went home and the manager called me, "You have the part." And I said, "Well, I didn't do anything." He said, "Doesn't matter." And then I got told later I got the part because my eyes. Isn't that interesting?
See,
Because
you
in
never
the
know.
movie, I have to be scared. I look around like this, and the villains come, and they wanted to zero in on blue-green eyes. So
Isn't that
that's how I got the
amazing?
part.
So was that your
And then-
first film ever?
Yeah. No, I did a
No.
couple in New York when I
Okay.
was in.
But
in
from
Broadway.
there, your career took off and became rapid fire because she was in.
Right. Speaking of Warner Brothers, I had my own trailer there. I worked in I auditioned for Marion Doherty right down the street from
Oh,
there.
God, I remember
And I
Mary.
remember going into the room, sitting down, and she gave me the script, and she said, "Okay, you got the part. Show up on Monday."
Which
And
never
there I
never
was,
happens
and
anymore.
it was so cool, and Goldie was such a cool.
What part did you play in that? That's Protocol with Goldie
Yeah,
Hawn.
no,
She's
I
talking about
just
right-
played one
right
of the
now.
young girls in the Safari Club that she worked. Goldie worked in the Safari Club, and
I
was
love Goldie
I was a
Hawn.
li-
I just
I was a
love her, and
little-
I love her daughter Kate. They're just they're just good people.
They-
Great talents.
yeah, I was in a
amazing
little
talent.
leopard outfit.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, the leopard. You had
I
it.
was a
or-
little leopard girl.
Oh, I
So,
love leopard. I'm a
then-
leopard girl.
Yeah.
I love leopard.
But
People make fun of me.
I
'cause
just
love
remember
it.
working in the A's.
Yeah.
You make like a couple $1,000 for one shot. When I worked with Steve Gutenberg at Paramount, we went overtime, and it was a first movie. It was called The Man Who Wasn't There, and I played Miss Dawson, the Secretary of State. And there's a big scene where they first used it was called the blue screen back then,
Oh.
not the green screen. And they got
I
the
remember
vial.
that.
The vial is supposed to go like right across in front of me. It's like this little vial, and they have it on a string or a wire, and they pull it across. But there's a blue screen shot, and they couldn't get it right. So I went into Golden Time.
Oh.
I made $1,000 a minute, and that was
A
back in,
minute.
and that was back in
Golden time.
1980.
Nice.
It was
Wow.
back in 1983.
I know.
I don't
remember-
want to. I don't want to.
Well, you were a
say
teenager,
anything.
remember?
Yeah, right. But I mean, it was so.
It was so
interesting.
great the way that kind of stuff happened. It was so much more simple than I got my SAG card because John Frankenheimer was doing 52 Pickup. I don't know if everybody
yeah.
remembers
Oh, I
52
remember
yes.
back in the
52
80s.
Pickup.
Yeah.
And John Frankenheimer, the great director, and he was an amazing director, an amazing human being. He was friends with a guy that I was dating at the time, an actor named Jamie Gillis, and he said, "Oh my God, you're dating Amber Lynn. I'm like a big fan of hers." And they thought it would be a great gag to bring me down to the set. They brought me down to the set, and he came in, and they put me in the back of all these extras, and he was coming out to choose like stuff for this setup scene, this party scene, and he was like, you and you, and he's like, and it was like this funny gag they pulled on him for his birthday, and I was standing there in this mini skirt and this whole thing with my, with this mohawk, with this clippy mohawk and the whole thing, and I stepped out and I had this whole thing, and he's like, you're in, and it was funny. They did this whole thing. It was great, but the thing of it is that he said to me, I've always thought you should be in mainstream acting. And I was like, but I like porn. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I was a big fish in my pond.
Yeah.
Really
Right.
big.
The biggest.
And so, yeah. And so I it was not neither here nor there with me, but I got this opportunity and I took it. He was an amazing mentor. He worked with me on the set, and I worked with Anne Margaret and Vanity and Roy Scheider and all these people the first time. And it was funny because they were coming to me around the set going, what's it like to do actual sex and, and stuff like that. And that was it. It just becomes like an extended family when you're working on
But
films.
remember when Tracy Lords did Crybaby or whatever? It was like a
Yes.
big deal. They made it sound like she's the first and only
No,
porn
that
actress.
that was way later
Yeah.
after that. But you know what? She did do a great job in Crybaby.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah, and she also had a great jump in her career.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't choose the road of denouncing my past in order
she
to
kinda
move
left it.
into mainstream.
She left it.
Right, but there was like a denouncement. I don't really, for me, and everybody has to do what they want to do with things. For me, it's about, I did it, I liked it, so what? I'm here.
It was part
I'm
of your.
moving forward this way or that way now, and this is a new horizon. It's like when you wrap a movie, if you play a villain, you move on to the next movie, and you're playing whatever you're playing in the next film. It's all about like just the flow. The flow.
But your fan base follows you wherever you go.
Your fan base follows you, and for me, I didn't have a, for me, there's no bad experiences in that, and trust me, you come down to it at the end of the day, and when the pandemic hits or something like that, and I still have my catalogs, and I own a lot of stuff, so I still have all my enterprises.
I want to have you guys on my show. See, I want to start interviewing.
And by the way, guys, if you want to check any of that out, you can hit my website up at amberlynxxx.com anytime you want. All my movies, I have, I have a store. I have an internet store, and all kinds of stuff, all kinds of get down for everybody.
Well, you're
right?
a smart businesswoman. And
Brilliant.
You own your material. You were smart.
You have to be,
Yeah.
in the world. And I don't care if you're in the adult industry or the PG industry. The first thing I tell people coming out the gate is, think of what you're doing like it is going to become huge, and moving from the small little seed that you're starting out from, that little role that you may have on that TV series where you're standing in the back as an extra and they say, come here, okay? The great director says, come here, and they're going to get your SAG card, and it's all going to bust open from there. You want to be thinking about it as a career. You want to be thinking about it as a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so many people that came up in the industry, and it's not adult, it's mainstream, it's everything. Whether you were a musician, I can't tell you, I had Steven Adler on my show talking about Guns N' Roses and how he had mismanaged his money and and all this stuff, and wound up broke.
Yeah.
People that are huge, and I was sitting there going,
Oh no,
Can't
Guns N'
believe it.
Roses, and you want to broach?
there's nothing sadder.
You know, but when
'cause
this
you think about how much
happens
money.
to the best of
you're
us,
talking
and
about.
now we're all fending off piracy and stuff like that, and you need to have that side hustle. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's got a side hustle, and we know coming up in the industry, you've got that thing that you're doing while you're following your dreams. And so, you know, the big thing now is a lot of people. I don't know if you're on it, but you might be. That OnlyFans.
Is what?
Everybody's.
Are you?
making-
You would do well on there.
Oh yeah, of course I
You're on-
diversify.
you're
yeah,
on there,
I
right?
diversify. I'm on OnlyFans. I'm
Yeah.
on everything. But you know, they have hunks on there, and you can be on there. But
You
I
look
was
up
thinking about
hunk in
that
the
for-
dictionary, you'll see a picture of Jasper.
Oh my
so,
god,
okay,
senior
so
porn.
Here you go from
Look
this.
how carved you are. I wish I had your body.
It's good lighting. Amber has the best lighting.
Stand up and do a
She has-
twirl for us.
she has the
Jasper
best
Cole.
I
lighting.
love this
Can we
lighting.
We
see
should call him
it?
Jasper Hardbody.
Jasper. I just want to show you
Just
one
w-
time.
look
Okay,
at-
stand
speaking of
up,
hard
you
body-
stand up.
What?
No,
Okay.
I was going to say that as far as like height, but you can't see it because of our.
See, I'm actually short also, but on camera,
You know, that's
I
funny
see.
because most actors are
small. Or
more smaller people. And if I take off my shoes, I'm right.
what?
here
What are
with
you
guys.
without shoes?
I'm 5'7".
Okay,
That's still tall.
but with shoes, you're talking like
just a tiny
5,
bit.
9, 10. You know.
I don't know. I've never measured. Depends on the shoes.
Yeah.
It depends on
Yeah,
who I'm out
definitely
with that
depends on
night.
the
You know,
shoes.
if I've got my platform stripper shoes on and I'm rolling with the so-and-sos, then I'm really tall.
Yeah.
And people always ask me, we made a joke about it last week. They said, "Are you trans?" Because then you get this big look.
Well,
Or-
it's very. That's
Right.
the end. You should just say yes, because that's it.
Well,
being
it depends. You know,
yeah.
if it's somebody who I'm not really into coming up to me in a bar
Right.
and they say, "Are you trans?" and I'll go,
Great work.
"You want to get rid of somebody in a bar real fast?" Just
Right.
go,
Yep.
or I just like speak to him in a really low voice.
Say I used to be Ralph.
Hi, my name is Ralph. Be running off.
Yeah,
We'll be
or
laughing.
some people like that, so it may not work. They may like you more.
That's
So
true.
this is where you started, and you're working
Yeah.
with Chuck Norris. Okay.
well,
and
no,
then how
actu-
did you move so
Okay,
rapidly?
so what happened was, you know, I did a lot of A stuff in the 80s, and then I sort of got into Playboy. This is my first little picture in Playboy.
Oh
Oh
wow,
my goodness!
that's vintage.
So
I
you
mean,
were
in a
Playmate
good way.
of the month.
Yeah.
In
and
what
I
month?
no, I was in
at
in
her.
with Shannon Tweed
Oh, Shannon.
Oh yeah.
in 19. This is the only picture
Gene
left.
Simmons'
Believe-
wife. Boy,
believe
that's
it
a
or
hard
not.
act to
And once
follow.
I got
You're
into
very
Playboy,
Shannon Tweed-like.
then
Thank
what
you.
happened?
I love Shannon. She's beautiful.
I ran into Jim.
I
when-
worked with Gene once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I worked with him hosting the
So I
Nudes
have
of
so
Pop
many.
and
I have so many mansion stories that
him
I
and Ron
can't.
Jeremy, and they were
Have
and
you
Ron,
seen?
I've been in-
Did you see the documentary on Hulu of the Playboy or
I
FX?
saw a few, but
It's
you know,
fascinating.
it's like, you know, there were two faces to the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
There was the super cool face of just respectability, and you know, and even in the grotto. And
I've been to the
couldn't-
mansion many times.
I was,
Oh my
I was
gosh.
thinking. I'm sure.
I
you
mean,
You
have.
know,
If
and
I-
but you know me, I've always been kind of free and open, and you know, I knew Carrie Lee, and I knew his next wife, not as good, but
Kim?
I knew
Kimberly?
I would go up, and Kim was there, and when she was pregnant, and you know, I dated Dennis Cole, and there was like, you
I
know,
knew
I was in
Dennis
and out of the
really well.
mansion, yeah. So
The
I
actor
had,
that was married to Jacqueline Smith.
yeah. So and
He's-
that, you know, that was like for a while. So I was going up to the mansion regularly, and you
It's
know,
so funny
Harry
we-
Reams.
Oh yeah.
There's a name.
Yeah.
We would go up to the mansion on the weekends and watch movies.
The
and
Sunday, I
The
was,
Sunday-
I was
the
like
Sunday
on
afternoon
the Sunday,
thing?
the Sunday.
I was one of those
soiree.
people with a drive-on pass,
Yeah.
which was the coolest thing you could have in LA, was to be a drive-on pass to the mansion where you could drive your own car and you just drive up and they would park your car. Otherwise, you had to be shuffled up on
Like a
buses and
golf cart or something.
golf cart, but it was still just as fun. I mean,
Yeah.
the golf cart stuff, the shenanigans that would go on the golf carts could be really great on the way out of the parties and stuff. It was a great time, you know, the 80s and all of that. And then it all changed when he got into the group.
And that's so funny because that's exactly when my career changed.
So were you Playmate of the Month or?
No, I was just featured in there as a young starlet.
Okay, so you were like a celebrity feature starlet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
do you have the month on that in case any of your fans are following and they want to know?
April 1989.
Yay!
Anyway, so what happened was, I met Jim Wynorski, who was Roger Corman's like second
DP.
I mean, like, you know, he was a young director coming up at a party, and just a really cool, nice guy, and he said, well, Debbie, you know, I'd love you to be in my movies, but you have to go topless in some of them. We have shower scenes, you know, the B horror movies, you know. And I said, well, you know, I just came out of New York, and even though I love nudity, I'm all for it. I have to be careful because, you know, I have a hotshot agent and manager, and I was young, and I'm up for, you know, Dynasty and all those things, and got parts in a lot of those things back in the 80s. And I said, you know, I'm just going to hold off on that because there really was a stigma.
Yeah.
You know, and especially, you know, I'm not saying...
A stigma around being in nude films.
No, just taking your top off because his movies weren't nude
There
films.
was two sides,
yeah,
and it was very double-edged at the time.
It really was.
And now it has come to a different place. You
know,
completely
different,
where it's much more acceptable. And I've had people say that often, and I'm not to brag, or I know this sounds weird, but I've gotten a lot of parts because of being Amber Lynn from the adult industry. And they say, yeah, but she's a legend. And I was like, well, why does that make it okay? You know, that means that I worked hard and I achieved success, but I did that through my hard work. That doesn't make me any less or more talented, you know. But they did have a stigma, but then it kind of evolved, you know.
Well, what happened was, then I did Playboy, and I remember I got a co-star with Al Pacino in this movie called Sea of Love.
Oh,
I love
and it was
Sea of
like
Love.
it was so cool. I mean, First Class, Flying to New York, and then
Al Pacino.
Oh my God, one of my favorite actors. But what happened was, the week I was flying to Toronto, and it was a co-star. It was a young balloon girl in it, and I had like 5 auditions and flying first class and town cars picking me up for the auditions, and you know, I mean, real A-lister stuff. And it was really cool. And it was so funny because people, you know, journalists and stuff were coming out of the woodwork to interview me. They would track me down. Like I remember going into a coffee place in Sunset, and this guy comes up, oh, tell me about this, you know, because it was already in Variety and everything. And then I don't want to get into the whole graphic story, but the week I'm supposed to film, Pacino fired the director.
Oh.
And immediately...
Are we allowed to talk about this?
I don't want to bring up any names.
I don't want to be like, okay, that was the knock on the wall.
But,
it's like,
no,
ring, ring, phone.
Was that the director that hired you? Had he hired you?
The director and
Al, what the fuck are you talking about on the air?
So what happened was the new director came in, and my role was a vulnerable role, and he put his buddy's daughter in it.
Mm.
But they paid me $30,000.
Yeah,
so
well, who
I mean,
cares?
you know, and I didn't sue him. I kept friends with the producer throughout the years and auditioned for a lot of stuff. But what happened was, I was heartbroken. We have to close out. But that's when I became a screen queen. Because
awesome.
Wynorski called me to be in Haunting of Morello, and he says, "Well, you got to, you know, be topless in the tub scene." I said, I'm there.
How do your fans follow you? I cannot believe that we're running out of time.
Wow.
We've had such an amazing show here, guys. How do your fans follow you? Let's let them know before we go.
I have my movie page because I have my own movie that I produce and star in, Screen Actors Guild, and now I have the new
social
series
media.
going.
You have social media?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I have the Hollywood Warriors page. Here's the movie. And I have a new series coming out called War of the Gods, and we're going to premiere it shortly.
And you can always check her out on our blog, guys, at Rock-N-Sexxxy UnCensored.com. Woo!
Love that cover you're on.
Look at
And I'm on the
that.
cover of a new rock and roll
Make
magazine
sure-
Wow.
called
Make-
Balls Magazine that's in London, Paris, all over the world.
Love
Just
you.
got back from NAMM signing autographs. And so I'm on the Balls Magazine site, the Hollywood Warriors
Thank you
site.
guys for joining us tonight. We're going to have
Thank
to
you,
have these
Amber,
guys
for having
back
us.
on.
Thank
I
you.
want to thank both Deborah Dutch, the amazing Deborah Dutch, for joining us tonight, and I want to thank Jasper Cole. Thank you, Jasper.
Thank you
You're an
guys so
amazing
much.
guest. And we
Great.
want to have you guys back on the show. Joe Williamson, our co-host. Thank you
Yay.
for joining me again tonight.
My
Follow
pleasure.
us
Yes.
at Rock-N-Sexxxy U on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at amberlynn.rnsu. Join us next week. The Bullet Boys are going to be dropping their new album and telling us all about their brand new video. They'll be live in the studio. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Thank you for
that
tuning
was
in to
amazing.
Amber Lynn's Rock-N-Sexxxy UnCensored. Available on rocknSexxxyUncensored.com. Don't forget to hit us up on all your favorite social media links and tune in next week for another amazing episode of Rock-N-Sexxxy UnCensored.